Hey, we're going to do some more artwork today. We're working in the Eberron campaign, building an adventure called Crystals of Mabar. You can see the cover here on screen. Give me a second to check my signal, make sure everything's coming through clearly. Then we'll, I got some quick social media posting to do, and then we'll get to work here for about 2 hours. So, clicking through on my channel here real quick just to see if we're live and active. Check my sound volume, make sure it's not overwhelming anything. Check my sound volume. Yeah, not bad. Let's bring that down a few notches. There we go. And I'm going to grab my link here and do a social media post. So we'll be at it here in less than a minute. So if you don't know me, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and I create content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I dream up new ideas. I build them. I playtest them, build them into books, and then hire an editor to clean up the text. I then do page layouts when it comes back and do all the artwork for the book like we're doing right now, and then we publish it. And then we pick the next book. We just keep rolling from book to book to book, from idea to idea to idea, from campaign to campaign to campaign. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So if you think this stuff is cool, be welcome to stick around. I appreciate you being here. Artwork is an intrinsically lonely activity. Honestly, being able to stream and share my thoughts while I paint is probably keeping me sane. So let me fix my windows here real quick. There, and then here's our screen. Here is our art. This book cover we made around episode 40. So if you want to check in the here. Here's the full playlist of all 491 episodes. Here's a bunch of books I made on the DMsGuild already. They all have free previews, so be welcome to check them out if you think they're cool and they add to your games. Be welcome to make a purchase if you want. And new subscribe. Thanks a lot. New subscribers today. That's awesome. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notification of when we're live in the future. I'm here 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning like this. I do artwork. And on Mondays, Thursday nights, Tuesday, Friday lunches. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I do game design for D&D 5e specifically. And I'm trying to, there we go. And yeah, so let's get to work. Again, I made this book cover around episode 40. When it's on the bookshelf, it'll be about that size. So keep an eye out for that. Right now, we're working on a Bob Ross friendly forest. The karrnwood is a pine forest in the northern end of Karrnath, which is in the continent, continent of Corvair. We are again designing. We're making a pine forest painting. So let me first re-engage my machinery here. I've got a little nib over here that I don't like. I'm gonna clear that up. That is the wrong brush to use, my friend. Let's go down to, there we go, the smudge. So as a celebration and appreciation for 500 subscribers, I'm going to be publishing my the ABR file, which is the brush set that I use for Adobe brush set, ABR Adobe brush set. I did look into it, and apparently ABR files work on. Let me conceal this for now. There we go. ABR files work with Clip Studio, Krita. Almost any art program you can think of utilizes the ABR file. It's not necessarily native to different programs, but it definitely works. So ABR file is what it is. And I'm going to add another layer here. Just dot this on. There's a little bit of a gap going on in here that I didn't like. So I just wanted to resolve that a little bit here. And then let's take this as our brush as well, and we'll take that up to 80%. I'm just gonna dot some of that in here. So I've done over 120 Bob Ross paintings in Photoshop, like utilizing brushes that I've created and techniques that I've learned from watching Bob paint for decades. And I think I'm pretty good at it at this point. So, but I also had to build a pretty unique brush set to be able to pull off the effects that I want that he does. And that's what's going to be in the brush set that I'm going to be posting on my Patreon. I have a link to my Patreon down below. The brush set will be free for people. It's just a thank you / appreciation for people taking an interest in my work and what I do. And so to make it easier for people to kind of grok what it is that I do, I'm going to offer the brush sets. So if you're an artist yourself, you can utilize those tools if you want. Because probably about 95% of what I do is done with like about 6 different brushes. So, but I have like I have some fringe cases. So there's probably I think there's about 20 brushes in the set that that do what I want to do. Anyway, wordsmithing. Let's grab an eraser here, and also this is our mountain chisel brush. I use it for all sorts of mountainy stuff. It's really good at making broken up rocky terrain and making a real rough texture. There, now. Fade that in and then chop it up a little bit, add in that texture. Blend it in like that and break it up a little bit. Blend it in, break it up a little bit. There we go. And as we get further down the rock, we want to make it a little smoother, because erosion is a downhill process. So the further down the hill you get, the smoother you're going to look overall. And then we'll probably put some snow caps on these guys. Drop the smudge tool a little bit. There. And then we're going to take our cloud brush here with about 40%. The cloud brushes, so some brushes I'll use to push and pull pixels around the page, but the cloud brush that we're using here is specifically to blend and merge colors together. That. There's the only two this and the guitar pick are the only 2 smudge brushes I really ever use. The rest of them are just paint brushes I either use as like a stippling effect, like Japanese block printing, or just as a traditional paintbrush to pull and smudge, or to drop paint onto the piece. Let's see here. What is up, and good morning, folks. I am bright-eyed and bushy-tailed today. Doing some happy trees, and we'll be doing some happy trees in the forest as soon as we get the mountains made. Again, with Bob Ross, you wanna do your sky first, and then your mountains, and then once your mountains are done, then you start dropping into the hills, and then once the hills are in, you start, putting the tarmac and some forest in place. It's all part of the process. God, that misty effect though feels really, really good. Blend to win. I'm going to push up like you do. Push up the hill to fade it into the environment a little bit more. There. It feels pretty good. Okay, so let's see. And then here is the next layer, which looks pretty good as well. Let's just go ahead and break up that texture a little bit, just to add a little bit of flavor and personality to it. And then once we get done with this process, we're going to go through and put some snow on this. Cap these guys off with the snow. Hold on, I need to change the size of the brush. This is further away, so I don't need as much detail back here, but I do need to pay some respect to the form. Close that off. Like that. That feels better. There we go. Not bad. Okay, and so let's. I think those are pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with them overall. The texture looks pretty good. I'm gonna chop it up a little bit here just to get rid of some of the obvious paint stroke marks. Oh god, that looks so good. That mistiness in there is just so gorgeous. I love that. These things are as much a process of discovery for me as it is for you watching it. It's I don't really have anything organized that I'm doing. I just have an idea of I want mountains to flow downhill in this direction. And that's basically like the only prompt I give myself. And if I were a computer, and I am, if I were to give myself prompts, it would be something similar to that. Like just make a downhill thing that flows, and then I don't think anything more about it. I just start executing the command and start producing shit. And that's how we come up with this stuff. And there we go. It's really cool. So I'm going to let's blend. Let's merge these two layers together. Break that up. Oh my god, look at that. That's so gorgeous. Looks so good. Smudge brush, work it into the canvas. Low opacity, like 20%, 30% right now. Okay, that feels good. So let me. I'm going to add another layer. I think I just want to put a dusting of snow on these. Yellow, that's interesting. Yellow snow, what could that mean? Mostly white with just a, huh. There we go. It's a little dull. I think I like it. Yeah, let's go with that. Glacier. This is a glacier that we're looking at over here. So I want to have a little bit of a little dusting of snow up here. Geez, I like that flow though. Hold on, I need to study that for a second. God, that flow is so cool. Okay. Let's see what she wants to do. First off, let's put some on here. This brush here, we're going to take it to 100%. We're going to make it a very, very small brush. Then we're now using the same chisel as a smudge brush, so I can push the pixels around a little bit on them. Now that I have some space in there, I can just kind of wibble it around to just kind of fill in the gap. And I can drop the size of the brush here for the eraser so that the texture changes. I don't want to use my cloud brush to smudge it. Maybe a little bit, but hardly at all, because it'll break up the it's the starkness of how the snow hangs on the rock. It doesn't like blend in like clouds do. It just sits there on top of it, because it's snow. That's what snow does. You can fill this in here, make these cool little gaps in here. I'm just kind of letting the brush dance around a little bit and just decide what it wants to do for itself. As it does. As we do. That is part of our normal process here. And at some point, this stuff just starts to kind of just fade off. So, I use an eraser here to break that up just to... We'll go ahead and get these face surfaces done, and then we're going to do the same for the back side of it, for the shadow side of the mountain. So let's just get this on here first, and then we'll break it up. These tools that I developed, it was over the course of many Bob Ross paintings of just studying how he lays down patterns of paint on a piece and seeing some just naturally forming shapes inside of his normal wet on wet technique on the canvas. And most of his, like all his shrubbery and foliage work, it's stippling. It's the Bob Ross technique is a series of stippling and smudging, and that's it really. So once you understand how to stipple and smudge, Bob Ross stuff is pretty fucking easy to do. And since I don't see color, I only work digitally, because the RGB slider in the upper right hand corner there, that acts as my color vision for me. So as long as I understand what the RGB is doing, the color all I have to do is work in texture, and it all kind of fixes itself. At least that's what the color vision clients of mine have said. So it turns out okay. I was really paranoid about sharing that I don't see color, because I was afraid I wouldn't get a gig if they couldn't trust my color vision. But now that basically I am my own client at this point, and I only work digitally. I don't have to worry about color printing or anything. So I can just trust I can just trust the process and grab at whatever photo references I want to provide the color for me to then work into the canvas. Break that up a little bit. I'm using like a 100% opacity. I'm using 100% on my smudge brush. So whatever pixels it grabs, it'll literally just carry with it. See, as long as I'm willing to go, 100% will just go with it. There is no trail off or loss of data. When it says like 80% smudge, it means every time you move the brush, it leaves 20% of the pixels behind. So over distance, it fades into nothingness because it lacks enough color information to actually drag any of it with it to the next pixel coordinate. That's how the digital tools work. So, and once you understand that dragging effect and how it affects the information that you're using, you can start using that gradient as a tool in your own work. And that's where a lot of my smudge techniques come from, is understanding that fading gradient. There. And let's just do a little tufting here. Just a mild little blending. Just to soften it a little bit. Just a little bit of a softening. Next, and we'll dust some on over here. Back to this brush, 100%, just to break up the form. Takes a little bit longer than Bob does because the digital tools don't have the same tactile sensation that lets you just whisper a nice edge along the edge of the mountain to drag and drop just a tiny bit of pixel information, just a little bit of paint as he proceeds down the canvas. This doesn't have, we don't have a tool in Photoshop that lets you drag it and then only 20% of the paint will stick in different clumps as it goes down the side of the mountain. That is a tactile experience that digital tools currently do not duplicate. So we have to, let's go about it like this. And then let's switch back to this cloud smudge brush, back down to 20%. We'll just push this up a mountain a bit. Feels pretty good. I'm gonna merge these layers together. So I can clean up the rock a little bit. Get rid of that wispiness. I want to have a solid silhouette against the sky. We leave all our fading to the ground But in the sky, we want it bold and chiseled against the sky. Good. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Okay, cool. So let's grab a contrast to where we're at here. So let's go back into here and find a darker. There we go. That's a shadow. Yeah, I bet that'll look good. So I'm going to do a separate layer in this cooler color like this. Chisel, 100%. Darken it down like that by doing a little bit of a transparency on it. Takes a little while to do it. Again, it's not just like a 2-second process. The digital takes a little bit longer. Well, a lot longer. Instead of being like a single stroke, it's like, as you can see here, it's like lots of different little. It's like stippling and then smudging and then stippling and blending. It's a more involved process than just dragging a palette knife across the canvas and being done with it. It's because, again, the tools aren't there. The digital medium doesn't directly translate. So we have to come up with alternate techniques to duplicate the look and the effect. I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna grab our brush here. 20%, just grab and pull and smudge it down a little bit to blend it in before we erase a little bit more. That feels pretty good. Now you can see like there's a little gap here that should probably have mountain, like should probably have its own patch of snow on it, so that. Put that in. Not great. It kind of just does its own little thing. I love it. So you want it crisp at the top, but then as you work your way down off the peak, you can smudge it in to it just grounds it into the rock a little bit better. You don't want it too much because it's not like it's smoke or anything, but it's got a similar sort of vibe of slight fade. Like it kind of implies shadow work happening here. Feels pretty good to do that. that feels pretty good. Now switch back to our other color here and dot it in over here. Just let it just drop in. Oh, God. It's just these neat little shapes and nooks and crannies that just naturally comes out as a result of just the randomness of the pixels dropping in. It just feels so alive. I love it. And now I want to put a little bit of a sharper edge here to create a little bit more contrast with the mountain that's fading here in the background. Here, just wherever it says it wants to go, just naturally just kind of spills into each other. There we go. And then we'll switch to the other color and let's drop in some more shadow stuff into here. Good. And then just a little bit of dusting over here, and we should be good. Shadow over on this side over here to fill it in a little bit. Grab this and drop it down here like that. Erase that a little bit just to break it up. How you guys doing? I hope everyone's having a good time. It's Bob Ross painting in digital is a lot of fun. It takes a little while to figure it out, but obviously it's not as quick as Bob. but I also didn't have any practice runs, so this is the first time that I'm doing this particular painting, as opposed to the Bob Ross technique. He would do the painting 3 times as a proof of concept to himself. It was like, yeah, that's a good composition, let's take this live. And then once he's done it a few times and he's practiced the techniques of where he needs to be with the painting that he wants to do, he can reproduce it pretty easily on screen, which is good. His techniques are replicatable. They're designed to be. That's why he teaches. Bring this in here and carve it off like that. Here, we're almost done with these mountain ranges. There's not much left to do with them. Bring that in here, break that up a little bit, smudge this in for some gradient fade, break it up a little bit with some rock. Texture like that. There we go. See? Yeah, easy peasy. Easy peasy. Looks pretty good. There. Some decent mountain ranges, right? You think? And we can have like a faded tree line up here. A really distant forest, like the natural breaking line here at the frost. We can have trees underneath that, which we'll get to. Got this neat little language down here implying these foothills. And then as we continue moving down the piece, we'll be able to start again going back to our composition here. We'll have actual pine trees here in the foreground, and we'll be able to see these mountains poking through behind, and we'll have all of this stuff is just a cascade downhill from those mountains into the forest floor. So I stream 5 days a week in the mornings like this, Monday through Friday. We do artwork. I illustrate all my own books. So we do game design and book writing on Mondays, Monday and Thursday night, Tuesday and Friday lunch. Like we're doing like character options for characters in Dungeons and Dragons right now. And hold on, I see. Just want some attention like that. Like that. There. Just that little snidge of light poking through was just wasn't resonating with me properly. There we go. See? Good looking shit. Here, just to cap that off. And it looks better at a distance than it does up close, right? It looks a little sketch when you get up close to it, but when you pan out just a little bit, like this is a 12-point font that we're looking at here. Hold on, let me conceal a reference. Here's a 12-point font. And hold on. Let's grab these and bring them to the top. Like that. So we'll end up masking off this layer over here, like along this edge here. This is where I'll have the painting. So this will be gone to mind our margins around the piece. Bob Art Forest. Let's do that real quick here, just to demonstrate for show. Hey, thank you, Timely Timer. Mountain and sky. There we go. So when we put our layer mask on, it'll be something. It'll end up being something like this. Soften that edge a little bit. Meh. I don't think this is the right brush. Hold on. I've built the brush set, but I think I grabbed the wrong cloud brush. I need to get back in here real quick, and let's go back down here. Where are you at? Hold on, I got a shitload of crappy brushes. I've got to get through to find the good brushes that I actually want. Where you at, Turkey? Come on. Hold on, almost there. Stay on target. Yeah, that ain't it. There we go. I think this is the actual brush that I wanted. Yeah, except it's not spinning, so that's not right. The search continues. Fill brushes. Search continues. Fill brushes. We'll find it. Just give me a little bit of time. We'll find it. So this cloud brush, this smudge brush that I'm using is not performing the way I expected it to, and I think I grabbed the wrong version of it. Nope, that's not it. Cloud. That's the one. This is the brush that I wanted. Look at that, much easier smudge. This is, I don't know what it is I had going on with the other one. But this feels much, much easier to work with. There we go. A few different types of smudge brushes I had going, and this, I think this is the right one. So I don't need to. So like I said, I'm building this this brush set. I'm gonna put it on my Patreon, basically as a thank you, appreciation / sort of thing. Let's delete that mask layer. Let's go back here into our mountains. Actually, let's go back to our sky. That'll be our real proof. Doing little circles, little blending circles sort of things like you see Bob do. Doing that same sort of thing here. Real quick. I'm gonna be at a 20%. There we go. I was pushing the pixels too much. 20% is pretty good for smudging clouds into the sky. Real smooth blending. There we go. That feels good. And then let's a little bit of radiance in here. Just warmed it up a little bit. And let's grab our references here again real quick. So I'm going to play around for a second. I just want to mess around with the sky a little bit more because I feel like what I want is a little bit. Hold on. Cloud spin. I'm going to. Bring that all the way up here. Get rid of this one. And rename this one Smudge Clouds. There. Gonna do a little bit of this. Let's see what this does. I don't know if this is the right answer or not. But. Let's bring this into the equation and see what it does. This might be wrong. So I'm just kind of exploring a little bit before I move into the lowlands. I want just to mess around with the sky a little bit more, just to see what we could do. Let's duplicate these layers. I'll merge them down. Now we can just blend these things together a little bit. See if I like it. And I might not. I might decide just this is a waste of time and throw it away, but I feel like there's something here, so. Canvas. I think I like that. Break that up a little bit. Yeah, I think I like that. It was the mountain, the snow on the mountains was fading into the background too much, so I needed to do something to create more contrast to make it pop. And this overcast sky with the lighting underneath the clouds, that seems to be scratching the itch. Plus, it gives a little bit of sense of motion in these in this cloud movement here. Not as static. Let me just work it into the canvas a little bit here. A little crest over here. I want to put a little bit of snow way off in these hills over here. They probably aren't going to be visible in the piece, but I want to make it accurate because it's here. In case for some reason it does end up showing up, I don't want to be like, crap, I should have taken the 10 minutes and fixed that corner. I don't want to be lazy about it. This in here. Ooh. If I double down on this and just drop the opacity on this a smidge. I think I like that a lot. There. Let's blend that in. Neat. I like how this is turning out. Little bit, there we go. Just fade that in. just blending it into the canvas, just creating a little bit of contrast for these mountains to stand against. There, that feels pretty good. What happens? Add a little bit of purpose. A little less static fluff, and a little bit more, just a little bit more angular, a little bit more motion. What we're doing. Give it just a little bit of sense of circulation, just by angling things a little bit. That should liven it up a little. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. Doesn't take a lot. Just want a little sense of current moving in the sky here. Add some tuft. Yeah, I like that. Nice. Okay. And I think we can call that fairly well done. Brush doesn't feel responsive the way that I want it to be. I'm gonna hit save real quick. I'm going to actually close out of the program and relaunch it to see there, and then there, and then there. There we go. Now let's relaunch. Brush feels more responsive now. Sometimes I have to relaunch Photoshop to help make the brush feel like I expect it to feel. I don't know what it is about it, but sometimes the grippiness of the smudge brush will change after I relaunch it. I don't know what that's about, but it's something I acknowledge. And at least I'm aware of it, so I don't get frustrated with the tools, and so I can just relaunch the program and hope it behaves better. Get some of that rolling in here. It's doing like these little ratchety C, like little tumbles, like almost like little crisscross patterns, like Bob will talk about, like doing little X's, little crisscrosses. That's how you can push and smudge these clouds in this place, because you're kind of blending the pixels back and forth. You're washing them into each other. Thank you, Timely Timer. What time are we at? 7:10. Cool. We still got 40 minutes. Plenty of time to play. Yeah, now the brush is behaving the way that I want it to. Good. Working that into the canvas. Again, this is all behind text, so this is going to be off screen. That's okay. We want it there. We want the completion so that it just naturally, like, you know, like when you hit a ball with a bat, you don't just stop the swing on contact with the ball. You follow through. In pool, when you hit the ball with the cue stick, you don't just hit the ball and stop. You follow through. All these things need some follow through to just naturally complete the arc of motion that you've begun, so that the movement becomes a part of it instead of because of it. You know, it's not cause and effect. It's just motion. There, yeah, that feels. See, now we have a little bit more of a sense of motion there, and now I want to grab these mountains because I'm looking at it. I feel like these things are capping. Nope. Yeah. Wrong. This one. Drag these a little bit down. That, push it up. And I'll have to add in some new texture to these. There we go. Nice. Like that. There we go. Yeah, that looks a lot more natural now. I'm going to mess around with these brushes just a little bit more tonight, and I should have them up on my Patreon tomorrow. My Patreon link is down below, so if you're interested in these brushes, you're welcome to swing by and pick them up. This is it's a fan appreciation thing for the number of, I'm at 569 subscribers now. Thank you for you folks that are taking an interest in the channel and the work that we're doing here. I'm really thankful for your interest, and it's fun to share this stuff. So if you think it's cool, stick around, be a part of the appreciation, and I'll have these brushes up on my Patreon tomorrow. No access; they'll just be open to the community. Anyone that comes through, basically. You don't have to be a subscriber or anything like that. It's just gonna put them out there for folks. fade that in. Ah, that just looks so much more alive now. Let's pull this down in. Push this up the hill. So carvings through here to break it up. There we go, like that. And next we'll get into the hills and the lowlands. We'll add in a tree line. And then we'll start working on the actual forest itself. There we go. Well, hey, Steve. It's good to see you, my guy. How you doing? Work this in. Mountain View, hell yeah, dude. Pick that all up. Grab this like that. Just dotting a little bit here. There. Then over on this side, smudge this in a little bit as well. Just working with the contours of the rock already. So let it flow down a little bit. Break it up. Some eraser in here. Like that. There. That feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. Just a little bit of that in there, and then we need some of this down over here as well. Pull and smudge that down. Don't want it to be as, this isn't going to obviously be nearly as intense because it's far off in the distance, but I still want to get the topography right on it. Just breaking it up a little bit. almost done. Push that up in there. And then we should be good with the mountains. Nice. Takes a little while for us to do this. Obviously, it's not like just like I said. It's not just dragging our knife palette across the canvas and being done with the snow. It's just that technique is amazing, and since we don't have tactile sensation in our keyboards yet like that, can't quite duplicate the effect that Bob does. So we have to go through, like, actually go through the process of like layering down the pixels. But the end result is still pretty satisfying because we understand, by understanding what his techniques are in the real world, we can understand what the end result is supposed to look like and how he's going about achieving those with the motions that he's taking. We can approximate them with the tools that we have here in Photoshop. And so I think those look pretty fucking good. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to be done with the mountains. Now I'm going to layer in some hills. So let's grab some lowland over here. Get this bluish greenish sort of feeling to it. I bet that's appropriate. I'm just gonna cut across here. I want to leave this smoke, this haziness here. I like that. Still just isn't performing the way I expect it to. Let me look at brush settings really quick. I had spacing on. Oh, that was weird. There. Spacing completely changes the how the brush operates. I can't believe I didn't check that. That's so funny. All right, well we're straight up now, folks. So back in it. I'm going to work that into the canvas. Meh. 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 Like that. And we can drag like this and create a line of separation. See that line of separation that's forming there because I'm dragging this paint down across into the faded. Again, the further down the piece we get, the more blended it becomes. And so I can cut literally into it like this and create gaps. And those gaps form little valleys that we can't see the camera angle into. We don't know what's going on in there. We just know it's in there. And to me, this and this are very, yeah, they are very similar. So these just kind of blend together like that. The grays are very close over here. So this hill effect, it's just kind of like it's like literally it's just cascading down off of the mountainside. We're just lifting up from the mist into the hills. Now that we're at the base, I can blend in the base so it fades into the fog. And we'll have another line of separation. Like these are perspective lines. They're adding layers of like the sky, the very back of the sky is a layer, the clouds is another layer, the mountains is another layer, these hills that we're making, this is another layer, and then we'll have another, as we go along the composition. At some point we're going to have we'll have shrubbery breaking up the far. We'll separate the background from the midground with shrubbery and tree lines and hedges to create another natural line of separation between the two. We just keep pushing forward with more and more layers as we continue developing the piece. So this will be our hill layer right here. We're going to dot the top of it with trees, so we can indicate an ongoing sprawling forest that we're seeing a close-up of here in the foreground. Just want to grab enough of this pixel just to drag it. There we go. All right, still got 20 minutes left. That's good. Just working it. I'm just working it into the canvas. Just trying to get a very gradual blend. Because I don't really right now. I don't want to know where the hills end, and the next layer of perspective begins. So I want it to be a very smooth, natural fade. Because I don't know exactly where the next layer is going to sit lower in the piece. So I don't want an unnatural line of separation ending one piece of topography and beginning another, because that just doesn't flow. The landscape has to flow into each other. So by making the color literally flow into each other, the pixels on the page, it just adds to the air of the attitude of where we're trying to go with the piece. I don't do a lot of tall vertical pieces like this. Most of them are wider than they are tall. So this is a fun change of pace for me to work like this. I wish I had the opportunity. I don't know if I actually wish that or not, but it would please me if there was more reasons to have environmental pieces like this in the adventure. But I mean, once you have your establishing shots of where people are at, you don't really need to whinge on it too much, right? Because the 3 pages before this are maps, like forest maps, and then we have this individual column here. We just didn't need it for anything. It was just open space. So filling that space with a painting of a forest just seems like the natural. It just seems like a good way to fill the piece. It's just a nice. I can do it, so I mean, why not? You know, and like if I got to fill the page with an illustration anyway, I may as well do that. Just probably spending more time on this blending than I need to, but this is a form of procrastination that's productive, because I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the top of that hill right now, while I'm pushing my pixels down here. It's formulating in my mind like, what do I need to do with this next? And so the next thing I need to do is establish a tree line. And then I can use this same faded color that we have going on here, probably to fake the forest. So hold on, I'm going to make an actual line there, just to break this thing up, just to give it an edge. All right, cool. So now we're going to take another layer, and let's go grab ourselves a brush that'll be suitable. We should have a forest line brush down here. Let's drop all that away. Tree line, horizon. Transform, skew, give a bit of a tilt, free transform. Here, free transform, skew. into free transform. I'm going to heighten these a bit. Subtle. Let's go back to our forest here and let's find some very faded trees. That's what I want back here. That's what I want. I'm gonna switch brushes. Let's find oh, okay, well, I mean, that is the color, isn't it? So I need to find something a little bit darker, actually. Maybe that'll be dark enough to create some contrast. Yeah. I don't think this is the right brush for that. Hold on, let's find the right brush. It's the right color, but it's the wrong brush, so hold on. No, that's not the right brush. We'll find it. Meh. Yeah, it's not the technique that I want. Hold on. We'll find it. Let's go with you. Yeah, this is the right brush. Trees are too tall for what we need, but that's okay, because we can take a 25% eraser and just start dotting away at the base of these to fade them in. And we'll lift up from the canvas into the pixels to soften the base so that it doesn't stand out as truly separated. We just want it to fade into the undergrowth. Got a clear line of separation. Erase in, fade it in. There. See, now we're starting to get like this fuzziness going on. This tree line that's playing. We can layer that a little bit. So we can go here with another round. The dot in on top of it. Erase at the bottom of it to fade it in, and then we'll smudge up to push the base into the canvas. That again, fading at the bottom and adding another dimension of depth. Back. There it is. Just drag across a little bit just to smudge it in. It feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. I like that. I like how that feels. That's nice. You know what? I actually want to go back to the sky for a minute. Let's take this. We're going to call this. Hills. Just want to soften this up. Now we got our brushes working correctly. I want to smudge it up a little bit, just to render it a little bit better. Just wanted to break up that line a little bit. Yeah, that feels pretty good. All right, we're gonna leave that like that. Okay, sky's good, mountains are good, hills are looking good. Let's see what's next. Okay, sky's good, mountains are good. We're gonna start working further into the foreground. So we're gonna actually start developing up the forest. Looks like where we're at in our composition. So we have the distant hill line good. Now we're going to be looking at the far ridge and continue to work our way down the page. So I think I need a line break here. We're going to have to do something bold. So give me a second here to go fetch something. Let's find something that looks good. Where are we at? I feel like we're somewhere around in this space. So I'm going to grab this. It's a good dark green. And looking at the composition as a whole, I think I want to go and do something like let's grab a brush that makes sense. Let's use this kelp brush. I enjoy it. Hey, what's up? Hey, Fox. One day I will see Phil on a poem in a perm doing. Life will be complete. Hey, Fox. It's good to see you, my guy. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get a perm anytime soon, but I appreciate the sentiment. I don't know if this, I'm just marking this here. I'm not sure if this is going to end up being the right thing to do or not, but it's a line of separation that we can add in. And then work into the canvas a little bit. Yeah, no, that's too here. Let's skew it to see if I can make that feel better. It's too horizontal. It's breaking the flow of the piece. I like having contrasting lines. Yeah, that's too. It's too. What is it? 7:48. We're almost done for the day. How you doing, Foxy? Go like that. That's gonna feel a lot more natural. There we go. Almost done for the day. Kind of want to have this dark green as a general base for us to be able to build more on top of. So I think I want to work. I think I want to take and work this down into the canvas. Again, this fading down from the top down into the bare canvas creates these layers of fog. You see how these different layers are separating from each other here? It's creating these natural breaks, and those are like breaths for your eye. As you're moving down, as you cascade down the piece, you can see these breaks happening, and it's a break in data. It's a point for your eye to be able to relax through. Thank you, Timely Timer. That is warning me that it's 7:50, so my time is almost done. This is probably going to be a really good place to stop. I'll just work this into the canvas here. And this becomes almost like a new frame for a whole new painting. So we have all that separating from each other, and now we can start layering in the mid and foreground forest here separately from all this environment that we did in the background. And it's just the world just keeps turning, you know, it just keeps rolling forward as we pan our gaze. And so the painting does the same. Just gonna work this, like I said, work this all the way down. All the way down to the page to just add in. Because once we get to this point, we're going to have less instances of just like raw, like ground fog with atmosphere, like that fogginess that's atmospheric disturbance, they call it. It's atmospheric perspective, where it dulls the color as you move further away into thickening as the environment, as like the amount of atmosphere and particles in the air get between you and what you're looking at, it erodes the color. So it causes it to gray and fade. So it loses saturation and contrast. as you move further away. But like the mountains are high in the sky, so they have a different, like they don't have the same sort of amount of grit. That's like a lot like pollen and just dirt and stuff and dust that gets in the air. There's less of it as you move further and further up in the sky, so the air becomes more clean and crisp. The closer you get to the ground, the dirtier and grittier it gets, the more the atmospheric disturbance affects the low ground around the mountain, while the height of the mountain remains relatively crisp. But this is good separation. This is going to end up being a really nice composition. I like how the whole thing is sitting right now. This is good separation. This is going to end up being a really nice composition. I like how the whole thing is sitting. And there. So when we come back tomorrow, we'll start working on the foreground and the midground of like this layering in forest inside here. And I'm going to drop that. I want to drop that down, or do I want to raise it up? See, if I raise it up, it starts to pinch it. If I drop it down, it lends to the elevation. And I'm still feeling like it's a little bit too uniform. So let's see. If I can skew it a little bit more. That feels a little bit better. There. I like that. So far, so good. I'm gonna fade that one a little bit too. Oh, that feels pretty good. What happens if I flip it? Flip it for reals. Free transform, flip horizontal. Just messing around with layers to see where I think things sit nicely. That sits nicely. Yeah, that has a little bit more dimension to it, so that's a good decision. I'm gonna let that blend. Grab here. Let that blend. I'm gonna merge that down. No regrets. Blend, blend, blend to win. All right, so I should wrap this up, and so we'll attack this again tomorrow. I'm gonna be back at lunch. I want to say yeah, 2:30. I think 2:30 is good. I should be back around 2:30 today at lunch, 2:30 Seattle time. That's going to be 6.5 hours from now. I'll be back on. We're going to continue updating and revising and making sure that the fighter subclasses are compliant with 5e24 and where we are in development of the martial power system. And so we can continue on. So we should be able to finish fighter Probably Thursday night we'll have Fighter finished. Oh no, we're in the Monk already. Sorry. We finished Fighter last night, and we got through the Monk class scaffold and the subclasses that graduated in 2024. So today and Thursday we'll be working on the Forsaken subclasses that did not graduate from 2014 into 2024. Thursday night, I'm also going to be I'm going to be on Wally DM, actually on How to RPG Fred Wheeler's channel, playing some 4th level Shadow Dark. We every couple months we'll do a one shot, and I'm proud to be part of that team. So keep an eye out on my social medias and my Discord. I'll drop a link when that's live. That's on Thursday, so like 5 o'clock Seattle time on Thursday. I'll be playing Shadow Dark again, and then I'll be back on for probably about an hour or so that evening to continue working on the Monk. And then I suspect we'll finish revising and proofing the Monk subclasses probably on Thursday, maybe Friday, and then the next will be the Ranger, and then the Rogue. No, Paladins. Sorry, after Monk is Paladin, and then Ranger, then Rogue, and then they should all be current, like everything 100%. I think that's how it's going to shake out. I want to actually take this and flatten it a bit. Was that a mistake? Maybe. Nah, we'll leave it like that. I may decide to change this. Who knows? For now, I like it. All right, so that's it. We're going to go ahead and cut stream for the day. So far, so good. This is coming along really nicely. We'll just I have an opportunity for me to add in more standing pine back here, dropping down from this here into the haze with some more. It'll be probably a more natural transition from here to here. I think that line will work. I just see that that's a space that I can add in some copses of trees in here just to add some interest and texture. So we'll work on that tomorrow. We'll work on all this tomorrow when we come back, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys in 6.5 hours when we work on the Martial Power System. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, bell icons for notifications. And I'm just going to do some cleanup on the brushes, and I'll have those all published for you guys. I'll probably have them up on your Patreon tomorrow. I think tomorrow, or at worst Thursday. So they'll be up this week as a gift of appreciation to everybody that's subscribing. So thanks a lot. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.